Hi, Harmendar ji. Welcome to TSCC's webinar series from Malaysia. We are honored to have you on board today and look forward to a great discussion.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gitanjali. Good morning, Gitanjali in New York. And you've got people all across. Yeah, and I'm in Malaysia. So, yeah, good for everyone.
A good evening to everyone to that part of the world, in that part of the world.
9:30. And yeah, good morning to you. I can see very bright and sunny out there. It's bright and sunny here every day. In Malaysia, it's bright and sunny all the time. So, yeah, hot and hotter. That's the weather.
Lucky you. Lucky
Yeah,
you.
lucky, yes. Too lucky sometimes, too hot.
Well, today I'd first like to start off this webinar with an introduction to TSCC, which most of our members are well aware of. But TSCC was formed in 2013 with the aim to promote commerce, connections, community, and collaborations, incorporating the Sikh values of life, the principles of honesty, integrity, equality, oneness, and service. The Chamber, just like Sikhism, is a completely secular organization open to everyone. And our mission is basically to provide a gateway to various organizations to interconnect within their country and globally. And it's webinars like this that we are conducting that allow for a platform for many successful professionals and entrepreneurs like yourselves to give your life experiences and motivate our members further with a lot of insight into how they can conduct and make decisions and promote growth in their areas and sectors wherever they are across the globe. And this particular webinar is very interesting since we've had a previous conversation to discuss our backgrounds, and which I'd like to highlight today in the webinar. And you yourself come from a very experienced background and were born and brought up in Malaysia. Like I myself was born and brought up in the UK. So we were both brought up outside India. We both are culturally rooted very much to India and travel extensively to India and various other parts of the world. And as I had stated earlier, with your experience currently, across we'll talk more about your experience in what categories and where you have made a mark with your experience. I'd like to first get into your experience of having been born and brought up in Malaysia. I think that is something that I would like to touch upon first and take it from there. How was your experience of having to imbibe the Malaysian culture and grow within it? With your experience, what would you like to share from your end? Please go ahead.
Okay, thanks for that introduction. And also part of the introduction is coming from myself now. Yes, growing up in Malaysia, born and bred here, it's been a great experience because at first, the first part of my life, this was the only experience I knew. I did not leave Malaysia to visit India until I was 30 years old. For me, it was just Malaysia was a country. I was born and we grew up here in a very diverse population. We had the local Malays, and then we have Chinese and Indians. So it was three major groups, and then we have the Eurasians and all the other Asians coming in, staying together harmoniously. I've never seen riots. I never seen racial problems of any big sort in Malaysia. So it's been rather harmonious. And that was my experience growing up. Of course, people were curious because you are a Sardar growing up in but curious. They were not bad or rude. Some people, but otherwise, people were curious, and everyone just grew together. We went to school harmoniously. I actually grew up in a very small town. Me and my siblings, we were the only Sikhs in that town in Malaysia. Sorry, in that town is called Tangka. Oh, shout out to Tangka people. Okay. So in that town, there was only one Sikh family, and ours was the family. And we grew
Wow.
up, yeah. And you're the only guy with a jura or a turban, and that's odd. But oddly, everyone accepted us openly. There was not much like people giving you trouble, calling us names and all that. It didn't happen at all. It did happen a bit, but then it was very tolerable. We became very tolerable. So when people say things of racial sort, even when I leave India or to visit the UKs and all that, and people say things like that, it just goes over your head. No, it's nothing. It's nothing. We just we don't bother. We are not bothered by such matters because our journey and our struggles were something else. These were very minute things. So growing up in Malaysia, then of course there's a not a very large Sikh community. There about Malaysia has a population of about 33 million,
Mm-hmm.
and the Sikhs are about 120,000. Having said that, the Sikhs, they're very prominent here in Malaysia. They're good lawyers, doctors, engineers. So everyone knows a Sikh guy. Almost everyone knows in this part of the world. There are two parts of Malaysia. So why I'm bringing this up is because on the later part, when I'm relating my experiences, we'll come to this point. So in the peninsular side of Malaysia, there are many Sikhs. They're multicultural. And then we have the East Malaysia, which comprises of two states, Sabah and Sarawak. We are separated by about 1,000 kilometers of sea, the South China Sea. And that part of Malaysia is also diverse, but they have a different set of people. Those people from the island of Borneo mostly, and Chinese, not many Indians, and very few Sikhs. So we'll come to that later. So growing up in that diverse population,
Mm-hmm.
it was fun, and I thought it was like that throughout the world. I thought growing up, that was how it was. And then when I started visiting places, they are like, "Wow, who are you? What are you?" I went to Taiwan once, and I was walking with my counterparts. They were Americans, and
Uh-huh.
people were lining up to take photographs with me.
You were quite the
I
king, huh?
I mean, yeah, being a Sikh, you stand out, and then it's like that, right? I started thinking, oh, okay, they have not seen people Sikh anymore. So that was my experience growing up. In Malaysia, not a problem. Everyone accepts you. You can walk anywhere. They'll be a bit curious, but outside of it, then I begin to realize, yeah, some nations are not. So in Japan, there are 95% Japanese people only. Korea, and then going to India. Well, that was an experience at India. It's like, yeah, you're going back to your roots, right? That was
Exactly.
experience was good, yeah. But what I like to say here is that in Malaysia, we Sikhs, we grew up as Sikhs in Malaysia, but we are very, very patriotic towards Malaysia because this was the only land we knew.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we grew up. In Malay, there's a word called tanah air. This is
Tana,
tanah
I.
is tanah
Mm-hmm.
air. Tanah is land. Air is water. So this is the land and water. This is your land and water. That's how they call a country, tanah air. This is where you grew.
Beautiful.
You the water
Mm-hmm.
here and the goods from the land. So we grew up thinking this is our tanah air. That's it. So yeah,
Wonderful.
that's yes.
Wonderful. So would you say that is it the third generation in Malaysia at this point, or you would say it's fourth generation now of
Yeah,
Sikhs
yeah.
being there?
There are Sikhs here living up to fourth generation. My brother-in-law is fourth generation, maybe fifth, not very sure. My father was born in Malaysia. My grandfather came from Punjab. They were brought mostly. The migration happened at the before the World War, so around the 1930s. There are many Sikhs who were brought in as people from in the armed forces or the police. So
Got
Malaysia being a British colony, and they thought that it would be a good idea to bring the Sikhs over because they are Sikhs, right? Marshall, they're bigger
it.
size,
Yeah,
and yeah, and they were well known here. At first, the first generation were well known as the peacekeepers, right? And people, so they kept the peace. All right, they did that. So my grandfather was one of those dudes. He was a big guy. My grandfather, I still remember him. 6'4" and huge guy. And that was how they came in. So my father was born here, and
Mhm.
then us, and then of course now I have children, so they are fourth generation. So 3 to 4 generations, some maybe 5 generations of Sikhs living here.
That's wonderful. I mean, that's something that I think a lot of people outside of Malaysia would not be aware of.
Yeah,
This was very interesting when we had spoken about this a little earlier, and I thought it would be. It also shows the amount of growth, and as you said, patriotism towards Malaysia and staying there and being a part of the country to make it grow. So that's amazing. I mean, I've visited Malaysia. It's a beautiful place. And I
yeah,
told you it's one of the my favorite places actually that I visited, and I have fond memories of it, and it's amazing the amount of development that has happened and the growth that is happening. Um, and now my having information from you that I have soaked in as far as the Sikh population being there is it's quite remarkable, to be honest. That they have carried forward, and I'm assuming that they are in very prominent positions and doing very well uh, from their, from having come down from generations, what has been
yeah,
built.
yeah.
Um,
Sorry, there was a research done by this professor. I can't remember the name now offhand. University of Malaya, the premier university in Malaysia. Uh,
mhm,
so the research was done by this professor. I think he's Chinese but Malaysian. So in Malaysia, when we say Chinese, they are not from China, but they are Malaysian Chinese. Uh, and we say Indian, they are Malaysian Indian. That's how we just call them. Uh, so he did a paper. He's an anthropology professor, and he studied the various minorities groups in Malaysia, and the Sikhs came out at the top. That means punching
wow.
above their category in every major professional group, whether it's doctors, lawyers, engineers, accountants, teachers, and that's our profession. We were always above, compared to the population, we are, I don't know, 0. What percent, but we
Mhm,
are above in all categories. So that was something that we were very proud of because 3 generations ago, the Sikhs were almost all of them were in a non-profession. I would say they were all in the labor industry.
mhm,
They were labor class. They were in the police or the army. That was it. You know, uh,
mhm,
that was 3 to 4 generations ago. And cowherds, there were many. So when the police force came and the military came, which was from Punjab, then came along the traders, the 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 tailors. The tailors came along, and then the cowherds. To supply milk to our Sikhs, we can't do without that. So yeah, so those class came around, and that was the category. There was no professionals to say doctors, engineers, lawyers at that time. But within that 3 generations, if you come in, if you get the report, if I, it's like tremendous amount of people. My father was a watchman himself, a security guard actually in a bank. So that was one generation. My grandfather was a policeman, And then my father was a security guard, and my father has 5 children. And I'm proud to say that every one of us is a university graduate, and we are all married university graduates. And that's
Fantastic.
how I think the main emphasis for Sikhs coming to Malaysia was a bit different from Sikhs in other parts of the world. That here the emphasis was on studies. There's a lot of emphasis on studies, studies, studies. There's not emphasis on business or things like that. It's just that you got to study, and at that generation, you got to work with the government. So that was the emphasis, and everyone just followed suit, and that's the result we got here. A very, very,
Fantastic.
very, very dynamic society. And yeah, you're right. We've got politicians, we've got ministers, we've got judges, we've got top doctors, etc. So it's very proud. We're very proud of our achievements, and also our forefathers, right? That they had this foresight, and they actually
Mhm.
nurtured this ground for us. Yeah.
That's amazing, because for a chamber like ourselves, where we do want a lot of we do want the whole global feel of, as you can see, it's changing. It's not regional. It's not country wise, where networking is primarily there now, with technology and with so much of talent out there across, and let's say trying to make it somewhat borderless in a way. It's wonderful to speak to someone like yourself from Malaysia, knowing that there's so much talent and so many opportunities to network with Sikhs and other minority groups and Malaysians themselves, to form beautiful, you know, platforms of networking, and definitely engage in more, to provide opportunities for the youth and the current generation, to see how that can be sort of used and as a platform for their businesses, their organizations. And it would be wonderful. I think this particular webinar highlights that very beautifully, especially with what the insight that you have given. Now, today's topic of the webinar is
Yeah.
the greeter and the Coca-Cola can trophy.
Yeah.
True life lessons of Malaysian leadership
True life.
coach. Now, to be honest, I am also looking forward to know and relate to the topic when it came to me, and I'm completely blind to what is to come our way and the experiences you're to share. So we'd love to start with your stories, but before that, I'd like you to speak more about, just before you get into that particular subject of your experience. I would like to, Harmendarji, highlight that from your background, you are primarily currently more in the sector of human resource management, I understand, and a leadership coach also. And you have worked in big organizations, and your experience transcends from automotive, HR consulting, food manufacturing, steelworks, construction, and education. So your career, as it clearly states, spans 30 years. That's a lot of experience in many sectors. So yeah, a lot. So congratulations to you for your achievements. And I'm hoping that a lot of our members today who have joined in, and non-members, would definitely get some great knowledge and pointers from you, as a Malaysian Sikh, and your experience across cultures and your working. And also having studied in the UK, I must point that out. Again, something we share in common. We both did our education there, our masters. Let's get into the topic. But please give me a little bit of your background before you go into the life lessons that you would like to specifically highlight.
Sure. All right. Thanks. Okay. I'll jump straight into it, right? So I started my career as a teacher. I was trained in a college to teach secondary school students, and after after studying, we were posted. So in Malaysia, when you're at that college, you are straight away considered a government employee. So the government will then send you out to your posting, and the postings are not up to you. It's like a tour of duty. You would get posted anywhere in Malaysia. So it's not your choice, right? You can have a choice. They will give you a form with a choice, but it's nothing. It's up to them, right? So I got posted to a school in Sarawak. So there's the east part of Malaysia, East Malaysia, and I got posted to a very rural place. That was my first posting, and I have a contract to serve. So because of they paid for our education, so we have to serve at least 4 years. So I served my 4 years there. Upon finishing that service, then you get an option to come back, and then now they give you a choice again. So I got a posting back to the state where I came from, Johor, which is bordering Singapore. So I got posted there, and I stayed another 2 years before I quit the service to embark on a career in human resources, because I felt that I need to move on to that. And from there, from human resources, I did HR and studied and also gain experience, and also I took up another course. So all the time I was studying and also studying and working. So work and study throughout the life, right? So that went well, I think, because of I think hard work, because we
Absolutely.
came from that was just what you call that by my parents, right? They embedded this, you got to work hard, got to work hard, got to work. So work very hard, and then at the same time I got married at the same time. And when I got married, I have to say this: my wife was also working and studying. She worked in a court as a court interpreter, and she was
Okay.
studying reading law at the same time. So it's tough for us. We were studying and working, and we're starting a family. Anyway, uh, when I qualified, I got my human resource degree, and she got her law degree. And then we sat down and decided that, you know what, we have been working and studying all our lives, the past 45 years when we got married. And then he said that let's quit, let's leave everything. And I wanted to continue my studies to do my master's. I could have done it locally, but we said all my life I wanted to, go overseas and see how it is studying there, because all my friends go there, but I couldn't. So let's go there. So we packed our bags, sold everything, and we left. We went to the
Wow.
UK. Yeah, so we
That
just left.
was that was quite a leap of faith there, I
Yeah,
have to.
yeah. It was a leap of faith. My wife, she's great. She sold everything, her jewelry and all that. So yeah,
Wow.
because we raised the money to pay the fees, because it was in pounds and we are in Malaysia, it's ringgit. So it was
Yes.
seven ringgit to a pound. So anyway, we went. I had a son, then one son, and he went to school there for 2 years. I stayed there for 2 years, did my master's, stayed a few more months, and then with a master's degree, I came back. So now I've
Okay.
invested in myself. So I said that, hey, I've invested this much, so I need to get a certain level of compensation back. So I started
Mm-hmm.
applying for jobs, and that went on. So then I landed a rather okay. It was not up to my expectation at that time, but then I felt it had great potential. So I joined a automotive company.
Mm-hmm.
So, but before that, I have worked in food manufacturing, steel manufacturing, and also education. So when I came back, it was auto manufacturing. So it was the biggest auto manufacturing and company in terms of sales in Malaysia. I
Mm-hmm.
joined them in 2006. 2006, yes. And I was with that company. I had a great career there. I
Mhm.
I like to say that I was promoted several times, very fast tracked, and
I
I
can believe that.
and it was good. It was good, and I still have very good contacts. And actually, the stories that I'm telling today, the two parts, they are touching this. My education when I was a teacher in Sarawak, and also in the automotive company. So we'll come. That's why I'm emphasizing a bit on that. So
Okay.
I had a career there, and it was a human resource. And then I left them at the peak, and they were very upset, but they were surprised, and so was I. But you got to do what you got to do, right? So I moved on into consulting, and fast forward, it's been 9 years now. I've done lots of seminars. I conduct seminars, leadership programs, and I conduct specifically many seminars in the automotive industry. Somehow, I think people in the auto industry know me, and therefore I get reference a lot, and also in other organizations. So that's been my career, and my friends also marvel. Sometimes that you keep on recreating yourself. Reinventing yourself. Well, I didn't plan that, but it's just kind of it's a natural succession to what. And now I'm 56. Yeah, am I 56? Yeah, 56. and and I think I still have a good many years in me to do new things. So currently working on new things, and well, I'm very excited what's going to happen in the next 30 or 40 years of my life, because I keep on telling people that I'm targeting 100 years, an active 100 years. And I read in the
I'm
papers
sure
today.
you will. You will
I hope
achieve
so.
that.
A healthy 100 years. That's going to be the norm in the future, I think.
There's
So
something that I would like to touch upon just briefly when we had spoken earlier, just to kind of get to know each other a little bit, was that what I really, really found motivating, and I do look up to anyone who has that thought process in general. And you put it, your life story actually beautifully depicted that in a way, and depicts it in a way, that age was not something that scared you to take those decisions, very, very critical decisions of changes in career in life. And you also stated that you started quite late, in some ways, if I was to compare
yeah,
in the direction that you took. And it was, again, I said, a leap of faith. And I said that, um, you know, uh, having uh, related to what you said to me earlier, that I was at this age when this happened. And then this happened, so I'm kind of relating back to that. And I would like for you to state a little bit of that to our members who've joined in and would hear of this later. Yes.
right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're very good in catching these things. You're very, very good. Are you an accountant or something like that?
I'm a
By
designer.
by Oh, you're a designer. Okay. I for D,
I have
I for
attention
detail.
to detail of,
Detail.
yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, when I was doing all these studies and working, by that time I was 35 years old. I was 35. So when I
Mm.
came back from England, uh, I was 38. 38, and I came back with a MBA degree and two suitcases,
Mhm.
and my wife and my son and another son on the way. So that's how I came back. And I came back to I had no house. I had no house. I had no rent. I had no car, no job, no house, no car, no job, no furniture, nothing, right? But I told my wife then that, you know what? As long as I can speak, as I can talk, have faith, I can get going. I can put us back on. So she's been a great help,
I
inspiration
can
to my
see that.
yeah.
We should have a separate webinar with her, I think.
You should. So I was just saying my brother the other day, let me, this is a side story. But I was doing this seminar with a group of people. They are
Uh-huh.
fresh graduates from the Malaysian finance. What is Bursa Saham? What is Saham? The share
Mm.
where they trade shares, right?
Okay.
And they had a bunch of new graduates, and they were saying, oh, we graduated last year. I say, so what have you been doing? Because my seminar was the last one. It was about interviewing skills, how you can score at interviews, because of my human resource experience, so I can tell them what interviews look out for. So they were going like, you know what, I I I I say, okay, give me your number. What's your application? Oh, one person say I got 13. I've sent out 52. I've sent out 38. I sent out 90. I say, okay, all right, 90, 30, 52, 6, 7, 18, 638. That
Mm.
is the kind of applications I sent when I came back.
Whoa.
At the age of 38, with experience, with a master's degree, with a couple of diplomas, and 638. And I still can remember when I was doing that. And I was doing that, and I keep on telling people, right? Yeah, you come back from UK, you got a master's degree, you think the door's open for you, right? After a
Yes.
month, you're getting anxious and you're biting your fingertips, right? Yeah, you're not getting the job. Why? And then on the third month, in the third month, it was like an assembly line at the time. There was not much online. It just started in Malaysia. So online application plus a paper application you got to write in. It was like a assembly line. There's my certs, my photograph, the envelope, the cover
Mm-hmm.
letter, and I was doing that every day and putting it together. And I'm saying the Lord's name. I said, please get it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the fourth month, I was crying doing that. I've got another child. He's being born. He is born. Another one going to school, and my wife is, she's in confinement. I'm staying in my father-in-law's house, and I'm doing that. But I said, I got to keep faith. I got to do this. I got to do this. And I landed the job. I made that many applications because I was aiming for something higher, because I already invested so much in me. So maybe the number was huge because they thought I didn't have the experience to take a senior position. So in the end, I landed the job at a slightly less position, but the manager told me that this is the position we have. But if you are good, Harmendar, if you are good, we will promote you. And true to his word, they promoted me. I was I'm going to blow my horn again here. I was the most fast uh, promoted manager. I got promoted 4 times in 7 years in that organization.
Fantastic. There you go. Never give up.
Never give up. So when I tell the students that story, right, I said, so stop complaining, right? Try to hit 638. Then you come
Mm.
and tell me that I tried hard. So in the meantime, keep on trying. So I was telling my
Fantastic.
brother this story the other day, and he said, "Yeah, man, that's truly inspiring." I said, "Yeah, a lot of inspiring things happen to people when they take chances, when they're willing to do it, right?" So after I took my chance going to England and coming back, I was a changed man. I mean, nothing phases me now. Nothing. I've done the worst. So it's like I can keep on doing this. No problem.
Yeah.
As long as I can talk, my where is my talking, right? I can talk, and uh, in Malaysia they say as long as you can talk, you can find food. You can. So that's my story. Yeah.
But yes, with now that you've given that I'm glad we brought up that point, and let's get into this. I'm very curious about these two experiences now.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. We should get into that. Yeah. The first story that I'm going to, it's a story. So anyone listening, you're going to listen to a story. It's a true story. Both these stories are true. It happened to me, and it had a very profound effect on me. And also in my seminars, I probably have repeated this many times, but I love to repeat it here. So the first one is about where I worked in the automotive company. So over the years, I had worked and I had reached a senior manager level, and I was in human resources. So in human resources, we had a big team. That company was huge. It was located far from town, far from the capital, but somewhere along the Klang Valley in Kuala Lumpur, around Kuala Lumpur, our capital. But it's an automotive plant, so it's huge. It's got 300 acres, and it's located in a field, in a agricultural area, because it's just needed that much of space. So because of that, there was no public transport going into the area. Because there was no public transport going in, people had to bring in their own transportation. And because it was a rural area, the roads were there was just a single piece, a single lane road, one-way traffic coming one way and the other one going the other way. So that was the only road leading to this plant. And the plant employed around 10,000 people, 10,000. And in the corporate office, there were us with about 2,500 to 3,000. So 13,000 people work in the plant. And that roads that were provided was also for other people who did not work there. So it's a small rural road. Coming to the problem. The problem was this. People were coming in late to work because there was only one road. And the traffic jams were great, right? Fantastic traffic jams. Because at 8 o'clock in the morning, those guys coming in with the shift and the corporate guys coming into work at the same time on that tiny one road. So we had a lot of late coming, which was a close eye, as long as you come to work. Okay. The whole scenario changed when we had a new MD. So the new managing director, his name is Aminar Rashid Saleh. Okay. So we call him the boss. So he came in after a month. He said that, you know what, I noticed that there's late coming. Let's let's measure the situation. So HR started compiling data and saying that, so and so during every meeting, every monthly meeting, we came up with, okay, these departments are late. We have this many late comings and all that. Okay. So why are they late? Okay. Go and analyze the result. The reasons were, there were many reasons, right? You just name it, right? Traffic jam. There's no parking space. The parking we provide is very far. So when we come on time. By the time we walk, because it's a distance, we are 5 minutes late. And it's a 4-story. There are too many people in the lift. And then personal problems. I have to send my children to school. I have to send them to nursing and then come to work. I send my wife first to the station and come back. So a lot of excuses. There was also, I was chased. I mean, in HR, you hear everything, right? My maid ran away with the gardener. It was quite common. And
Gosh, yeah.
the car
Sounds like India.
yeah. So the car wouldn't start. Children sick. Mother-in-law had a problem. Father-in-law, or everything. And they actually come and tell, and we record everything down.
Right.
Fine. So then HR was assigned, okay, come up with a problem. Come up with a solution. So we went back to our drawing board and then we discussed, okay, we have a few solutions. Notably will be, after we thought hard about it, that we can stagger the working hours. Stagger the working hours and see who can come so that we can ease the traffic jam. Some of the suggestion was to prepare, to get people to carpool and come. But many were against it because in a car company, nearly everybody drives. Everyone drives because that's the product they get at a discount. So everyone drives and everyone gets a car. And our annual dinners, we throw away cars just like that. 10 cars, that was our.
Can I get invited to an annual dinner in Malaysia in a car?
Stuff. Sure, I left them, but yeah, maybe we can try. Yeah. There were cars everywhere, right? We were car rich. Yeah. I mean, if you got only one thing to offer, that's what you offer to your staff. So everyone drove. Everyone drove. The guy from the lowest level, everyone drives. There's no public transport. We came back to the MD. Okay, this is our solution. Blah blah. We are coming back with it, and he had a look at it, and he said, "You know what? Never mind. Let me think about it." So in the afternoon, he calls me up. Somehow I was involved, or I was in charge. I don't know how, but he calls me up. He said, Harminder, you know what? Tomorrow, you and me, we are going to wait at the front door. When the people come in, they swipe their card, and we're going to greet them. We're just going to greet them. So I
Okay.
said, okay. So, yeah, he said, don't tell anybody, you and me. So that day, I used to go early, but not that early. So we had to go 15 minutes early. I normally go 5 minutes before time. So on that day, I went early, and he was there, the MD of the company, the top banana at the door. He said, okay, you stand on that side and I'll stand on this side. I will greet everybody who comes this way. Okay. So we started greeting everybody. And we greeted, and the people walking in nicely, yes, boss, and they, whoa, boss, good morning, boss. And then there was a bit of a hangama going on that, hey, okay, the MD's at the door greeting everybody. So people started coming in, and on that day, we had the biggest number of absentees.
Oh, okay.
These people went up to their office, call up their colleagues who are coming in late that, hey, you know what, the MD's at the door, you don't come in late today. So most of them just abandoned. They did not come to work, emergency leave, annual leave, sick leave. Some just did not turn up. Some came in through the kitchen. We had a pantry, all kind of things
Okay.
were happening. So a lot of drama, yeah. But we had the biggest number of people not turning up.
Mm-hmm.
And the calls were going on. Hey, what's the MD doing there? So the next day, guess what happened?
What happened?
What happened? We had people, you had no idea.
Okay.
People started coming in, and
Ah,
we started, and they all came, and everyone
that's
came, and 99% people were on time. 99%. From a normal 10% of people being late, 99% were on time. Everyone came right on time. Very good. Very well.
a strategy that worked beautifully.
Yeah. But the thing that hit me the most was all that root cause analysis we did, all the coming up of new ways, stagger, move, carpool, this and that. What happened? The road was the same. The children still went to school. The mates, whether they ran or not, I don't know. The mother-in-laws were there. The children were there. No one died. There was no accident. Everyone still came to work. All the conditions were the same. The government didn't build another road immediately. The parking was still very far away. The parking lots that we provided, they said, managers, you come early because our parking lots are nearer. Yeah, it's a privilege that we get. So, but on
Mm-hmm.
that day, everyone came on time, although their parking lots were. So it was like a wow to me. So then the MD, we had a chat. Then he said, Harminder, you know what was the problem with this? I said, he said, you were looking at the problem the wrong way. The whole HR department was looking when I said, the root cause of the problem was
Mm-hmm.
not the parking or the car or anything like that. The root cause was the attitude of the people. The attitude of the people was, never mind, I'll come up with the reason, and it's a valid reason, and HR will accept it. He said, I refuse to accept it. And this was the solution. And I was like in awe. I said, yeah, we had a brainstorm session after session to overcome the problem, but the problem in the end was attitude. But having said that, right, finding the root cause, there's also some other factors that because of the MD. If it was another senior manager, probably they just brush it aside. So then the further thing that I saw was there was an enabler. The enabler was that enabled people to come late was because of tolerance. People tolerated this behavior. And this became the mantra of my life, that what you allow will continue. You allow people to come late, they will continue coming late. You allow people to bully you, they will continue bullying you. You allow mediocre work from your staff, it will continue. If you allow your children to watch TV until late night and get bad results, it will continue. It is because you allow. So what you allow will continue. That became the mantra of my life at that point. I said, you allow. So even now at seminars, managers come up to me, oh no, my staff, they send slip short work, they are late, they are always sending work not on time. I say, yeah, you allowed it. It's simple. It stops with you, right? You allowed it. It's an attitudinal problem. So that was the first thing that has stuck to me. So the greeter was that. The learning point from this was two. One is the root cause.
Right.
To find the root cause, a solution to a problem, you must go to the root cause. In this case, the root cause was not road, was not parking, was not nursery, was not school. The root cause was the attitude. So we were shooting at the different, because we were looking at different root causes. It was the attitude. And the second thing, it was enabled because people allowed it. And what you allow will continue. So looking back, if you reflect upon your lives, the people who are watching this live, look at the problems that are caused by other people onto you, and look at this and repeat and think about what you allow will continue. So that is taking responsibility. I will not allow this to happen anymore. Taking responsibility, then it will change the perception about a lot of things.
Okay.
That's what.
Absolutely. That's, I mean, from the experience that you have, shared with us, it definitely, the story was, it built up like it was a bit of a movie in my head, to be honest. I was trying to, visualize and have these, various picture frames in my head, and but yeah, I mean, I totally get it, and it's how you expressed it is it's definitely points out clearly that your whole thought process on attitude towards work and allowing it are two definite points, and that need to be sort of taken into account as far as management across the board is concerned. I am a designer and have quite a few people employed under me in India. So I do struggle with that myself. So what you narrated is something that I actually realized not very long ago. And I can totally relate to this. I may not be able to express it as you have, or maybe share a specific point of view, but yes, I allowed it. I actually allowed it. And I realized that when I stopped enabling them to get away with what the staff was doing, is when the actual progressive changes started happening. And this wasn't very long ago. I have to be very honest with you. I think this was possibly about these last 4 months. So it's very strange how we're having this conversation today, because I think there was a great complacency to some extent, knowing that, the Indian culture, the way the people work, there's this work culture, and you accept it, and you're like, yeah, this is given, as they would say, ye chalta hai, that chalta hai attitude wala. And I have to say, my mom actually pointed this out to me. She's a designer, and she started this about 45 years ago, and she brought this up to me, what you express now. So I think this comes with time, and it's not something that just realize. You are complacent of the fact, and especially in the world of arts and where I'm coming from, there's a lot of patience required, a lot of creativity required. and you're wondering whether you need to give them that time and deal with the mood swings and come up with, because I got to perform too. But you're right. It was all about the attitude. It was all about the attitude. And I had to myself make very strategic changes and very harsh changes, to be honest, to be able to enable further progress.
Right.
So I can totally, from a management perspective, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, relate to what you're saying. And I wish that I would have spoken to you a few years ago. Which I hope a lot of people would sort of get a grasp of now, because I learned a little late, you know.
It's okay. Never
As
too
you
late.
said,
Never too late.
it's never too late.
Never too
And
late.
that's another point that I was motivated when I spoke to you earlier, that it's never too late. And there is a time for everything. But I wish there was someone to kind of, other than my mom, because she kept seeing it and I think she showed patience and we were her children and we weren't listening, or, it's the way we conducted ourselves. But, I really, when I effectively started applying, certain and working towards the change of attitude in the environment, in the work environment, and that extended not to just my own internal unit, but my extended units, where I have, workers that work on freelance, or for that matter, are, hired on an extremely regular basis and are completely committed to our organization. I think that's across the board. So, Harichi, I should have met you years ago. This has been quite a delayed meetup through TSCC.
Okay. The next time you come to Kuala Lumpur, we have a seminar. We could share more ideas.
But I'm so glad you shared this today. I mean, and that the 2 points are extremely valid. And as I said, I was just about as curious about the topic. I was not completely aware of what you were to share today.
No, yeah.
Was not. We left it at that. It was more about getting to know each other. Yeah. But there's anything else that you would like to add to that as you finish on the two stories, on the 2 points related to the two stories?
I have another story. I have time.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that salient point being, I said that the root cause was another one. Sometimes we rush towards a root cause thinking that, okay, the first solution that comes to our mind might be the right one, but you really have to, it's like an onion, you have to unveil it until we go down to the root cause. This is also part of the training that I receive from the company that I was working for in the automobile, because we had Japanese technological partners, and they were always going on about root cause analysis. That was Japanese. Root cause analysis. So I said, Harmendar-san, you go to root cause. So they were driving there all the way, and this tech came from Toyota, if I might say, right? And you know how good Toyotas are, right? They keep on improving, because they go down and find out the root cause. So I use this example a lot when I do problem solving skills in my workshops, and I get very good response that, I thought I get participants saying that we thought it was this. I say, yeah, thought, right? We thought whatever that we knew, but when you go down to the deeper level, and I relate this story, and then they go like, now I see it. So I love it when my participants the aha moment comes in, eureka, that they start thinking. So they put more thought into that process. Whether is this the solution? Is this something that I allowed? So putting these things together, they learn something at the seminar, and they go back, hopefully becoming better managers. So yeah, that brings a lot of satisfaction to me in sharing what we have learned. So because these are things that there are books, there are theories, there are MBA, everything. But when you relate it to work, related to experience, then it becomes wow. So that's what I drive at all the time in my seminar. So yeah, that's good and satisfying. Let me jump into the second story.
Yes, please do. I'm curious about this one too now.
Okay. So the second one, you can read the title of it. The second one?
Yes, it's the Coca-Cola trophy.
The Coca-Cola can trophy. Coca-Cola
can trophy, yes.
Can trophy. Okay. Let me
Yes.
give some context about this. So I said in the beginning that I started my career as a teacher, and I was posted to this very, very far away place. It was called Sarawak. And even the Sarawakians who were from that state dreaded going to that place. Dreaded not because of any fear or danger, but it was because it was just too far inland, right? Away from the coastal areas, where all the cities are located. So it is in the heart of Borneo, in the 7th division of a town called Kapit. So to go there, I need to take a plane from Kuala Lumpur to Kuching. From Kuching, take a smaller plane to Cebu. There's another town that goes interior. And from there, I have to take a boat that takes you up the river, because there's no road at that time. Even now, there's no road still. So it takes you up the river, and you go up river, and you go to this town called Kapit. It's about a 4-hour boat ride. In the town, I was lucky enough to be in a secondary school, so I have electricity and water. But my other colleagues who were in the primary school, they were sent even deeper interior, and now they take a long boat. So not the big boat. A long boat is open. Is just like a what do you call it? It's an open boat with an outboard engine, and they take you in. And
Got
sometimes
it.
you
Got it.
you have to get off the boat and carry the boat because the water is too shallow, and they go up there like that, right? So this was our adventure. Now,
Interesting.
I was rather athletic, so they put me in charge of athletics in this school. So in this school now, I'm teaching kids who are ranging from Form 1 to Form 5, which is an age of 13 to 17. 13 to 17. And but because they come from a rural area, some of them are 18, 19, 20. Some of them are older. Some of them, because they come from that interior area, they will skip school for 2 years and then come back. So some of them are over age. I was 22 years old, and I had students who were 20 years old. So almost the same age group. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, they're very tough kids. I had the best time of my life there teaching them. It was really joyous and nice experience. And I was one of these sports teachers. And I taught kids athletics. And
Okay.
we live in the school. So we became very close to them because all the students are boarders. They're boarding because they come from the smaller villages. They come to the big school, and we stay there, and we were their guardians. So we took care of them if they are sick. We took care of them in school, after school, their sports. At night,
Mm.
they will hang out with us. So, and there was just the school in that area. There's nothing else. There's just a school. So we live with the other teachers and their families, and I was the only Sikh in that whole division. like
Very.
it's a big the division, I would say, uh, is probably as big as the state of Punjab.
Oh, wow.
It's that
Okay.
big, yeah. It's a division,
Oh.
and but the population is very sparse. It's very few people, and this was one
Mhm.
school in that area. And that big an area, they only had 7 secondary schools. So you can
Okay.
imagine. So we were surrounded by jungle. It was jungle all around. And it was not, it was quite normal for a deer to come into the school compound once in a while, other wild animals, wild boars,
Mm.
crisscrossing, So that was the scenario we were in. So this was me like an Indiana Jones in this setting.
Okay.
So
Mm.
the children, after some time, they get used to the Sardar, and he's from this side of Malaysia. So we were very close. And I was young, and there's nothing else to do but to get involved in sports and there are other activities. So I was a sports teacher, and one day we were having sports practice, and there was this guy, and I was training him to do the high jump, and he could jump very well. They're very tough kids, and these guys, we have age group categories, for sports, below 15, below 16, below 17. So this was a below 16 guy. He was 15 years old, and his name was Burung. I remember the name Burung. And Burung actually means bird in the Malay language. Local language is bird. So
Okay.
he's called Bird, the Birdman. They call him Burung. Okay,
The bird
and
dance. I like that.
he was a very good high jumper. I mean, he could really soar. He could really jump, but he lacked confidence. And so I said, we should boost this guy. We should make him jump that. So on that day, I had with me a can of Coca-Cola. And because Coca-Cola comes from Kuala Lumpur and it has to take that trip upriver, off the aeroplane, etc. By the time it reaches that interior, at that time the can of Coca-Cola costed 1 ringgit in Kuala Lumpur. That means $1. Look at one. But when it goes inside to my area, the school, it becomes 5 ringgit. Five.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
expensive, right? At that time, this was in 1990. So it was a luxury to be
Mm.
able to drink Coke. A can of Coke is a
Oh,
luxury.
yeah.
No
It
one
was
drank
a
Coke.
luxury at one
It
point.
was a
Yeah.
luxury. Yeah. So from 1 ringgit to 5. So I said I left. The, the kids were coming back. It was about 6 o'clock in the evening, and everyone finished their practice. And there's this high jump uh, uh, apparatus still there. And I told Burong, look, this Coke can is for you
Mm-hmm.
if you can jump that height. And that was just below the school record height. At that time, I can remember the height. It was 1.63. Sorry, 1.83. 1.83 is almost 6 feet tall, and
Oh,
almost
okay.
6 feet. Yeah, and these guys could jump. So 183. I said, you jump 183 10 times, you get this can of Coke. And he was like, wow. And the whole school's like, whoa, there's a can of Coke for Burong if he does it 10 times. All right, let's go. So the
Okay.
crowd gathered. There were about 50 or 60 kids there after their practice, and a couple of teachers joined me, and I said, jump. So he started jumping one, and he cleared it because he normally clears that 183. He clears that. So he jumps it the second time, and he cleared it. All right, now the crowd is going crazy, right? 183.
Whoa.
And then there's the fourth jump. He clears it. And then I said, hang on, because now he's motivated. I said, okay, Burung, come here. I take the can, another can of Coke. I got it from somewhere because I was not being paid very well as well. This is coming out of my pocket. So another teacher came and sponsored. He said, let's do this. Let's put 2 cans of Coke. Now there are
Okay.
2 cans. And I said, you see these 2 cans of Coke in the middle of the field and he's jumping over there? I said, you get these 2 cans. If you break our school record, which was a 185,
Mm-hmm.
then he said, sure, I'll break that. No problem. 2 cans of Coke. That's 10 ringgit. This is like somebody's daily wages, for a school kid, for a kid who's poor, it's great. So now we have about 100 kids coming out from their dormitories to see this.
Okay.
This is a true story. I kid you not. And it was getting late, and the sun was setting, and there's this burong going on, right? And he jumped, and he cleared it. 185. Cleared it. 185. He's fired
Beautiful.
up. 186. And then now he's looking at 186, which has already broken the school record. And 186 is the state record. And I said, Burong, go, jump. And the crowd was going, and he got the slow hand clap, and everyone's like clapping, clap, and then he's jumping, he's approaching the apparatus. 186, and he does a beautiful Fosbury flop, and he clears 186.
Beautiful.
And now
Okay.
comes back to me and he says, sir, let's go higher. This is a guy who never cleared 183 before this, but I knew he could clear it. I knew in my heart that he could clear it. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to lay back today. Yeah, I said, I got no more Coke cans to give you. He said, don't worry, those 2 is enough. Let's do this. He's doing 186. He cleared 186, and that's a state record. Clear it. And then boom, and he jumped again.
Wow.
And I get emotional. I still remember this was more than 35 years ago.
Mm.
And he jumped and he cleared 188.
Oh my. What a victory. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And that was the national record.
That
And that
is
was
that.
the day, and that was the day Burong, my boy, broke the national record in that jungle in Kapit, in the 7th division of Sabah.
Amazing.
And we
Amazing.
carried him on the shoulders and we were going crazy and everyone was, wow, it's a national record. He never jumped 183 before, he's jumping 188 and he cleared it, right? Forget about the 10 jumps, he cleared every jump and kids were going crazy and coming for the coke. And he came to me and I gave him the coke can and he said, Chegu, he called me teacher, means guru. He said,
Mm.
you can take this back. I don't need this anymore. And
Wow. Okay.
I was yeah. So there I realized the true powers of self-motivation. And then I realized that if you as an individual or a leader or anyone in that position as a parent, a leader, if you could find, right, you could find that final uh, piece of puzzle that can unlock a person's motivation for him to get self-motivated, then you are sorted. There's no more, then the person is on his own. If we can only find what. So for Burong, it was a can of Coke
Yeah.
that unlocked this. And he came back to me and said, I don't need this anymore because I already got whatever I wanted, right? I mean, it's a national record. It was a national record. We broke it in the jungle. No one knows about it. It was not recorded. It was not an event, but I know and the boys knew that we did that on that day. And that was a bigger lesson for me at that time because I realized the power of motivation. And not only motivation, hey, come on, guys, do this, do this. It is when the person hits self motivation, then you're sorted. Then you, as a boss or you, as a leader, your job is done. You just can pile your people with work and they will make sure they will do it because they are now self-motivated. But of course it comes with everything else, right? It comes with the proper motivation, it comes with the proper leadership, it comes with the proper someone to show the way. But with that, then you're sorted. And I like to say this, that I was a leader, I was a manager in my area, and I have people, my staff, who have done very well now. They are in big positions, but they are still in touch with me. And I've got people coming up to me saying, boss, I learned this from you. I hated you for this, but now my people are hating me, but I know I'm doing the right thing. And I'm like, wow, for me, that's the ultimate, right? I think I would have touched someone's heart in my cause of leadership, and I'm happy with that. And we are still friends until today. And with I'm so happy. But I learned this from my student Burung more than 35 years ago. So
Beautiful. So this is your motivation. That is your gratification.
yes,
I
so
think that was probably unlocked something in you as well, that you had the you know the know-how of how to reach and understand um, of the potential
it,
um,
it
of
became
someone's
it became
talent. How to
yeah,
that, as you said, that's an art in itself to be able to do that. I don't think it's everyone's forte. It's definitely a gift in a way, and it's again the story that and the way you narrated it again. I felt I was right there,
yeah,
and your emotions definitely
yeah,
made you feel like
yeah. I get
the
emotional
moment I felt I was there.
because
I
it's
felt
yeah,
I was there. It's I mean, I'm touched having heard it. um And I can see the gratification for you is unlocking that potential.
And
In
it became my mantra sort of when I interview or when I have new staff. I will always sit down and I'll try to find out what is his motivation. So I'll find out about family, I'll find out about his education, I find out what does he like, and I find out as much as I can. And with that, I I think I always have very good teams because they're willing to do anything for me as a boss, and I find that gratifying. But at the same time, yeah, it is something that I think easy for people to do. It is not difficult to get to know someone at a personal level, um, because uh, let me put it right. It's not that we are manipulating them. It shouldn't be in a manipulative angle. It should be, I'm trying to understand you to find out what motivates you. And if I find out what motivates you, right, I can usher you into that direction and make you a better person. That would be the ultimate role as a leader, not a manager. And that's what I strive to do. And I think I've done that throughout the years. My
Fantastic.
career.
No,
I,
amazing. Harmenderji, we've definitely got some amazing insight from both your stories, as you mentioned, and as that I was in the complete dark of what you were going to narrate today, and both of them been highly touching. One of them definitely was close to my own, as I said, experience in my field and my area, and uh, as you said, you are a life coach, and I'm sure this would, you know, I think a lot of the youth, and I guess a lot of people like, in my generation, um, we're not really that aware of. I mean, I know of life coach. I know of, I've read about stories about coaching and what coaching does, etc. But I think nobody's narrated it or put it so well across as you have to understand what life coaching as such means, what it unlocks within you, and how it can be a gratifying experience for uh, you know, for anyone for that matter, and across organizations. And I would love to get information from you about how this works with you in terms of coaching. You're in Malaysia, and I'm assuming you have a lot of international students and people that you mentor across different organizations, given your experience. And I'm sure there will be a lot of reach out to you from our members post this. I mean, I myself may consider reaching out to you as
oh,
well. No,
no.
honestly, I mean, I'm really like, this has left a great impression on me too. And sometimes you need that mentor. Sometimes you're lost with questions, and sometimes you're like, trying to fix the situation and just praying to God it's just going to happen, when it's actually within you to be able to do it, because you have the talent. You just don't know. And a lot of organizations, just generally, with whether it's human resource management or even yourself in a management position, um, on with our daily lives and our routines, and with so much that you expressed with having told your stories, we it's not that we don't have the capability to approach or achieve that. It's just that we're in a bubble. We haven't looked beyond, and someone comes in to highlight that part of your life and help you resolve that. So it may not be just motivation, it may be more than that. And I think that's really needed, not especially with the youth today. It's highly competitive. um, there's so much of talent out there. What makes you so unique? What makes you stand out? How could you be mentored? What's your direction in life? Are you actually pursuing what you should be? Is that what you're geared for? I think these are questions that if I related to and answered and coached beforehand, we would save a lot of time. Even though, as you said, it's never too late.
Yeah.
But I do feel that that comes with time, with wisdom and experience. And we've had a lot of hands-on experience. The whole idea of having hands-on experience is so that we can pass on that experience wisely and make a segment understand in the way you narrate it. That makes a whole huge difference. So thank you so much for your having. It's been an honor to do this with you today. And I look forward to probably addressing another area within your set of expertise, and take it further with TSCC. And I'm just so happy that we had this conversation with someone established in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And yes, it's definitely been a great, it's definitely educated me a lot, and TSCC as well, on what's
Thank you.
in Malaysia. I'm sitting in New York. I've been to London. I don't trade with Malaysia, but it's definitely worth looking into for many organizations with professionals like yourselves. And is there anything else you would like to add before we end this session?
No. Thanks for all your kind words. Very nice. That's also motivational to me, and so that I keep on doing this. My motivation lies in getting responses during my seminars and people coming up to me. I met someone at the airport once, and he said, "Sir, do you are Harmendar?" I said, "Yeah." But I get this a lot because we train so many people over seminars, and I said, "He must be one of my students, one of my participants." And he said, "You don't know me, but it's okay, sir. You changed my life." I said, "Wow, how did I do that? I don't even know you, right?" And I did one seminar on time management for this salesman. And cut the long story short, right? He said he changed his life, his sales became better, and he became a better person, and his wife loves him again, and all that. I said, wow, that's too much, But somewhere along the way, when I say, or when seminar leaders like me say things like that, right, it hits everyone differently, right? Through your experience and also what problems you are going through, and to someone else out there that would be facing something like that. So there are solutions like this possible, and I'm very happy to share this. They say if you do some good, right, a little bit good is good, because a Lord knows how many bads I do in one day, So if I can spread a bit of goodness,
well, I can just say that whatever we as humans do, as long as it's unintentional, it's never intentional, and I'm sure God is aware of that. So with all blessings, and wishing you much success for the future. And I'm totally I definitely enjoyed this webinar.
Thank you.
Not a professional at taking webinars. I'm a part of TSCC. I'm an operations director, so I do my best. So I hope I've managed to have a conversation with you, and you've been comfortable and felt that the direction was, how you would have liked to steer it, and I get the message across. I tried to highlight what I felt was quite essential for a lot of our members. But thank you so much. And we look forward to having you very active with a lot of our members, as I said.
Oh, wait, let me check. There's some chats. I wonder if there's any questions.
Yes, actually.
No questions? Okay, sorry. I'm just checking now.
Yeah, okay. No, not at the moment. Yes. Well, it's a little early here in New York, and
okay, so thank you very much, and you already said your thanks, and I think I don't know how to sign off from here. Probably I pass it on to you, Gitanjali. Thanks for being very gracious.
No, it was
And thanks to
wonderful.
Agnes
I will
for reaching
definitely,
out to me. Yeah.
I will definitely be in touch with you, Harminderji. We will
Please.
definitely be in touch.
Oh, thank
Are
you.
you a current member of TSCC? Are you with TSCC?
No, I'm not. I'm not. Actually, I did I posted a video on my LinkedIn. Agnostus saw it, and then he reached out to me. And then we've been talking
Yes,
about
you
doing this for
mentioned that.
past, yeah, for past 2 or 3 months, but because of schedules and all that, and today we are doing this. So that was it. He has not. And he did not ask me to be a member, and I did not pursue that. But it's just a casual thing that we are doing.
No,
He said, "Would you like
I
to
just
do?"
was curious if you're not, because we'd love to have, you
Yeah,
on
sure,
board. It would
sure.
be an absolute honor to have you as part of
Thank you very much.
TSCC. And,
And
I don't know if you feel the same way, but we
yeah, of course I do. I read up a lot on it. I read the activities. I think they're doing great, good job. They're
well,
engaging with
we're
people and
truly
making them.
going with a lot more additions, and with what we have planned for TSCC in the coming few months. We have a lot that's going to be happening. That's going to be
Okay,
having significant impact on networking, and we tend to connect people on a very personalized level. So I love to go through profiles and connect people directly through through all our members, or the reach outs that I have. And being here in the US, it's I get amazing members that connect with me through personally, or through LinkedIn, and are looking for something like this. That's why I was kind of curious to know if you were currently with TSCC, because it would be beautiful to highlight you in an amazing way in the upcoming. I don't know if you've visited the US, or do you come to New York at any given point, because we'd love to have some sort of maybe an event where we'd love for you to speak as well, because we're working on that in the future too. But I
sounds
don't
good.
know if you've ever ventured out in this direction, or looking to.
Yeah, I've done in other countries, but not the states. But it's something that it would be good. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, something definitely we can talk about. Yeah, and plus I've got a niece there. As I said, it'll be a good time to go and visit her as well.
Yeah, would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Or we will make it down to Malaysia.
Oh, that would be great. Anytime, right? In Malaysia, it's very warm, and you just come here, and yeah, it's for your no problem at
Great.
all.
I know it's getting late, so please
Right.
have a great evening. And regards to your wife, I have to commend her for
Oh
being
yeah.
stuck by your
I hope
side.
she's signed in. She can hear that herself. But
Yes, no, I would love for her to know that.
yeah, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Then. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye.